Hello guys, I'm back. My name is Caesar from Bytes Crafter, and today we have a very important update. Sorry if I've been gone for too long, but I'm gonna focus more on providing tutorial and making useful plugin for Unity. As of now, I have a very exciting updates for you. I've been busy making a plugin, a multiplayer plugin. Basically, it can handle any. I hope to add more features to be able for it to handle any types of gameplay. It can handle MMO, RTS, FPS, something like that. So I call this plugin as uSocketNet. You can find here for more information. You can find it here on my site called bytes-crafter.com. So you can also register, and I am also providing some pre-assets. Most of the assets are free, but some of assets that is full of effort, and like this uSocketNet, which is supposed to be a multiplayer server for indie game developers. So the good thing about this is, wait, later I will show you. It's bad to give some information, but here we'll start. You will be excited to this plugin. So as you can see, we have a preview. This is the temporary logo for this plugin and the information, and it has your own admin dashboard, so you can see what is your CPU usage, memory, current data traffic, so you can deploy this uSocket server or the uSocketNet server on your home server, on your Google Play platform if you have and by the way, Google Play Console platform, you can host a Windows 12 server for free trial, and you will have a $300. It's for free. Just add your debit or credit card. So the next thing is you will have the real-time channel information. For example, how many users in a channel and how many channel currently on the server. And the next thing, and you can also watch the users and its instance. The next thing is you will have your online users. For example, this uSocket server will be incorporated with also be integrated with MySQL. This is the preview. By the way, this uSocket server is powered by Doge.js and Socket.io. So both of it is very popular for making multiplayer server. So I did squeeze so much time for this project. So there are two types of logging in this server side logging. You have the console logging, and you can also have the text logging. So let's continue. What is uSocketNet client and server for Unity? So it is a real-time WebSocket multiplayer for indie game developers. It is multi-platform that can be used through mobile and standalone computer. So, but currently I'm having trouble implementing it on WebGL. So, but it's in the future I will try to fix that. Even though WebGL is a it's not a common build platform. So what is the features? Real-time admin page, server health monitoring, cross-platform with Unity, flexible and scalable, matchmaking mechanism, reconnect event. By the way, the very important of this this uSocketNet is it has a reconnect event. and this server is filled with complete callbacks. Anything you do, you can listen to whatever the result of your current query. Is it a failed or a success? Now integrated with MySQL for future development, because current version of USACnet is at 0.7.2. It is also integrated with Unity editor scripting, so that you can easily add and remove prefabs. So this USACnet is inspired by Python and Unity Network, and also Google Play Game Services, real-time multiplayer. Now, another feature is you can have multiple clients and views or instances for each machine. So this can have a best probability in using RTS game. Reconnect event handler easy restore user profile when we implement or integrate it with MySQL. So if you want to know more about the USACnet, by the way, you can get it here on my site, and you can log in to view the price. Currently, I'm sorry guys if I cannot offer this for free, as I want to add more features to this USACnet server, client and server for Unity, and I want to improve this, so I also need some fund to continue this project. So just an introduction, this has a very amazing result. Later on you will gonna see. So this is the website. Just go to usacnet.bytescrafter.com, and you can find it here about the software, the current version, the features, and you can download on mobile, example mobile, build, and standalone. So let's try. We can download it. So let's try. Currently the example, currently the only example here is thanks by Unity, but later we will gonna try another example. Okay, we will gonna try another example. I'm sorry for a messy downloads. So wait a minute, and let's go. Just play this one. By the way, this is enable multi-instance, so you can have a multiple instance in this demo build. So this is the best example, and it has you can also add reference to the parent of the USACnet view. Later on we will gonna talk what is USACnet view. So as you can see, you can connect, and currently my test server is hosted in Asia, because I deploy it on a Google Play console at I think it's East Asia C. So it is a server by Google. So you can connect. You can connect, and then here, because you connected, you can have unlike the Python and Unity, you will hard code the messaging, but here in USACnet you just call send message, send public message, and the content. Just call that. There's no other code to follow. Just say USACnet that send public message, and it's all the USACnet will handle that for you. So if we try here, just send message. As you can see, it is very fast because currently this is 13 ms. This is the only client connected to the server, but I'm trying to create a debugger or a load tester for the server to test this one. But to be honest, and the server doesn't result any error for now, and maybe, but I don't expect to maybe I cannot say that it will don't have, the server side will not have an error yet. I am preparing for it. So the server is very stable right now at the current build of 0.7.1 and the client is 0.7.2. So this is the public message. All the clients that is connected will receive this message, but it has only a limit. So we don't want, for example, we have 100,000 of clients sending a public message and all of it will send to each client. So like example, as our rules of survival, you will have a maximum of for example 30 messages. There are lucky 30 client messages that will receive by a specific client per second, for example. So this is the public message, and this is also the I'm sorry, this is not right. This is a private message. Basically, what is a private message is you are sending a specific message that will only be received by a specific clients. So for example, here we listen that EQH0 is connected, so we can contact here specifically EQH0. I hope that is 0, not O. So let's send it. I think it's not AQHO. It's O. What is it? Or maybe the username. I'm sorry. User #1, I think the username. Maybe later I will try to check it on Unity, but we'll try to connect. Now, if we are inside the channel, we can have a public message, yet it is on the developer side. It is not ideal to have a public message when the client is inside the channel. So basically you will have I only implement here that in this example build that when you are inside a channel, you only have a channel messaging. So basically all you have to do is by the way, the all user that is currently in public will not receive this message, because this user, for example, this user is not currently on that channel. So there are lots to talk about Usenet. You would be very happy that is not currently on other project server. So let's try to connect now. And as you can see, currently this is only 12 frame per second sync rate, 12 frame per second sync rate. So this is an example of having a usocket view child. Basically you can have a multiple number of usocket child. For example, a hand, a foot, a head. You can sync that optional through position, rotation, scale. So we'll talk about this later on the Unity editor, because we will also have gonna discuss this on the Unity editor. So now that this user is currently on the channel, he can now receive the message. So, and by the way, this is automatic. If the user for some reason lose connection on the internet connection, for example, or abruptly close the application, it's on the server side to check and remove each and every client for each channel that is subscribed. So let's try to connect again. Why is it that I am always choosing run as administrator? By the way, it is not recommended, so, or not compulsory to push that. So we will try again to find another channel, and as you can see, at a 12 frame per second sync rate, it is better syncing. So as you can see, we can sync, and we also have a state variable that you can have a multiple state. I know you don't have idea currently of what I'm talking about, the category that I'm pushing to you, but yet please listen and be reminded of that every terms that I say, because we will talk about that later on Unity. So it is also has also states. I enable states, so you can sync in real time the, for example, you have health, SP, MP, character speed, you can sync that all. So the main idea here is just the developer side, the client side. You just want to program like the main setup is you just check if this client is local user, then the control should be activated. If it's not, the control should be deactivated, because the server will try to sync the clone object from other machine to the peer machine. So now currently the other peer is game died, so we can implement here, we can revive by just pressing F5. Now we are revive, and so here's the player. Now we close this one, and by the way, before we close this one, I will try to show you because this is included on the package, so you can watch the demo here, the evolution of the development, and also you can, if you want to buy this plugin, you can now demo guide, you can have this admin dashboard. So password was incorrect. So basically this website is coded with Bootstrap, so it is responsive on mobile, so you can check your server anywhere if you have phones, and also it is animated and animated with jQuery or Ajax. So and I uses data table and Google chart. All of the APIs or the plugins were free. So as you can see, this is the admin dashboard. You can see how many channels you have, you can see how many online users you have, any authentication invalid because you have a password. For example, your game has a password to prevent cheaters from cracking cracking your game and trying to connect to your server to cheat your game. So currently you have 2 users, and this has been running 4 days, 5 hours and 5 minutes. This is the date that is previously run, server uptime. So you can see here the CPU usage in graph, and you can also see the memory usage in megabyte. So you can monitor the server health. So you have here a gauge for CPU, memory, and a network traffic. So here you will also have a graph for data usage. For example, what is the current load that my server is currently handling. So you can see the upload, the download. So we will try to simulate traffic. And another thing, a good side about this is that this client will only sync to the server if there is a changes on the client. If there is no changes, the client should not be syncing on the server, but other players, when they move, they should sync on sync to the server and send to the unsynced client. So hopefully you get what I mean. So we're basically limiting data. So we don't want to send data frequently. We only want to send data which must be sent to the peer client if we have a change in state. So as you can see, as I move the client 1 here, I am the upload and download is bumping or increasing at a specific rate, specific levels. I'm sorry. So upload is less than the download, because upload is you are only syncing your the specific socket view, one socket view, and the download is downloading the other peer client. So you can see if the client is moving, is sending data. So you can also graph and public message, private, and channel message. And the next update will be adding a team message. Basically, when you instantiate, you can set your current team so that there will be no scripting on the teaming or the matchmaking. For example, if the gameplay is having a team-based gameplay, so you can send message and the data message usage will bump to 1. For example, you can imagine if you have 100,000 player messaging, and you can, by the way, I made this admin dashboard because aside this is the problem in using the Poton. I'm not making bad comments about the Poton. Poton is great, Unity is great, but as a developer, I think it's better to have your own admin dashboard. I think it's better if you have access to your own server. What I mean is, I want to see the current traffic, so that I can improve. What else can I add to the game? Is it the game having too much traffic, or what is the current standing of the server? Basically, it's all about having datas, because currently I'm so addicted with having datas. So if we close this one, before we close, we should finish the all of this one. So basically, you can have a telemetry powered by, this is powered by Swagger Stats. This is the more informative about the web server. And you can have an active channel. What is the current active channel? So as you can see, this variant is very important. So this identity will be set by server. The name will be set by the developer or the user. The developer can say create or auto create a channel with the name of, or you can also make it null, and the server will provide like this. The server will provide a name for that. And a variant. What is a variant? For example, you in one game, for example, the rules of survival, there are 2 types of multiplayer instance. There can be a zombie mode, or there can be a survival mode. So any client that is finding a zombie mode should go to the zombie mode scene. So every client that is finding a survival mode should go to the survival mode. So we don't want them to go to a different variant. So that's it. And we have a current client of 2 and a maximum, and this maximum is set upon creation of channel. For example, useAcadNet.auto match with the name of channel 1 and a maximum of 10 and the creation date. And you can also view the clients. I made this for debugging purposes, so you can make this basically this is implemented with data tables and Ajax. So this website is not forced to reload the page. So you can see here, these are the identity of the user. I think this is 0. And then you can also view instances. What is inside instances? Now, inside instances, this is very good for debugging purposes. So every instances, so you can have multiple instances of socket view. So they have also identity for each, a unique identity, local identity for that. So what is the current index of prefab? So you will set that. For example, you have 50 characters. So you will set that on the useAcadNet. And then useAcad, yes. And then position, you can view it here. It is real time. So is this the player? Yeah, it's the player. Now, as you can see, we are moving and the position is currently syncing. When we are rotating, the rotation will move. This is because this is per second. We disable the scale and we disable the animator because there is no animator. This is the states that I'm talking about. So basically, these are the category that you can enable. You can enable position, rotation of the parent, scale of the parent, animator, a specific animator inside in the parent or below in its child. And the states can have a multiple. So basically, it is a list of string. You can have a multiple state. For example, an index of state 0 is for health, index of state 1 is for SP, index of state 2 is for MP. For example, just for example, you can have a multiple state depending on what design are you. So currently the child. So currently we only have one child. So as you can see, this is the child. This is the turret, the rotation. Now, the last but not the least, this is online user. Currently, there are 2 online users. You can view their public IP address, and I'm sure this is not right. You can view if this current user has a correct authentication key. And by the way, this is implemented with Bootstrap data table, so you can immediately search for a specific user ID. And in the future, I am planning to add here another button to block the IP address of the current user, so he will not be able to connect. For example, he's cheating. So all in all, I am planning to make this website very authoritative, and you can fully control your own server. So here you can have the policies, contacts, if you have any bug report, about, and change admin. So you can have a multiple server. Now going back to the project, so we will now close this one. And this is the example. This is the example. For example, if you bought it on my site here on www, if you register here and bought it, and I'm currently, my asset store package for this one is currently pending, and I hope that Unity will approve that. So let's try to create new project. So we will try to call this one a demo guy, and let's create this project. So let's extract the server side. So saying that you have Node.js, take note that you have to install Node.js on your server or here on your local machine for testing to run the server. And MySQL is optional. You can install it. You can install it or not. So sorry, running out of words, and let's try to run the server. Currently Node.js is installed in this machine, so let's try to delete this just to make the folder clean. And to run the server, you just need to click this one. I'm sorry, run server normal. So in PMGUI, that's this two is important tool. For example, you're debugging. So here's the node logs, and you can run server. As you can see, the server say that USACnet say that server error listen 192 because the IP. And CMD, we need to get the IP config 192.168. so basically we need to get the IPv4. Currently it is not automatic, but on later I'm gonna implement this one as automatic. So 192.168.1.7, we will try to edit the server side to 192. Sorry, I'm currently editing. Wait a moment. Few moments. So as you can see, these are the variable. These are your authentication key in the server side, so you need to declare it on the client side, and this is the local IP of the server. So what port will be the server be running? Currently I am using the port 3000, for example. And what is the local host USACnet? For example, this is the server side. So every error is handled on the server, so you will not be bothered if the server will shut down, because every error is handled. I'm using an npm that will make the server stable. So let's try to run this. It will fade on MySQL, yet it's okay, because MySQL server is not really that recommended. It is only for a connection event. So we can close this one and we open Unity. We have a new project here, and so we run the server and then we import the USACnet 0.7.2. This is the package. This package also included a demo scene, which demonstrate multiple clients, multiple sockets, and multiple instances. This plugin, I think it's only 1.6 megs. So we can go to the demo guy and the demo single. So here, of course, we will try to replace this one with localhost or 192.168 our local IP. Or if you deploy this on your home server or Google Play Games, Google Play platform a server, you should declare the public IP or your domain address. So 192.168.1.7 is port 3000 and override sync rate is 1. Basically, this is the sync rate. And debug custom, you can disable and enable here debug. So every event will be debugged here, run on background even though the build is currently unfocused. It will always be connected to the server, and you can have player prefabs here. You can have multiple player prefabs. So, but currently we will use only one. Now, this is the sample script, the UI demo. We will try to discuss that later. So, this is the game variant. For example, Demo Guy Single will only be matched on Demo Guy Single, not on Demo Guy Multiple, for example. Let's try to take a look at basically what you need is the uSocket client. So we can also show here the uSocket show. So you can debug the, don't worry, this will not be included on the build. This is just a Unity editor. As you can see, you can see the clients, the number of clients, the number of locals, peer, and the sync rate, the upload rate, the download rate. Now, let's try to see the player prefab. Now, player prefab is only contains composed of uSocket view. Basically, uSocket view is equal to the Unity's network identity, which is included here, or the Photon view, which is included here, the transform, the animator, the scale, the states, the child's network child transform, like that. It is included here. So you have three types. You can have real time, adjust towards, or lerp various. You can have interpolation. You can disable and enable every category. You can enable scale here. Just for example, we will enable this one, or we'll try to adjust towards, and 7. And this is the simple control. So the next thing to do, just to demo you what is currently on your mind that I need to answer. I think you want to pick on the simple control. How easy is this uSocketNet to implement? So basically, all of the job scripting that I can implement, almost very common implementation of multiplayer, I implement it here, so that there will be a minute amount of coding effort when you are using uSocketNet. Basically, what you need to do is to listen if the current have reference on the uSocket view, and what you need to do is, this is for debugging, what you need to do is, if uSocket view is local user, so you need to enable the control, else disable the control and disable the rigid body, for example the camera, something like that. So this is basically moving the character. So that's what you need to implement on the uSocketNet. While on the uSocket client, here, if we try to take a look on the UI socket and monodebater, as usual, sorry, monodevelop, it's always keep crashing, and when you copy paste, So you make a reference of the uSocket client. So this is just an example. These are the UI reference. What you need to do. So here, let's try to discuss before going to so uSocket view is basically listening if the local user or not. Here on the uSocket net, here is the magic. So upon start, you at awake, you can listen to connection status. So the developer can be able to detect any connection status if the current user was disconnected or internet connection was lost, or for some reason the user so you can update the game whatever the current connection status. For example, if the current user is disconnected, you can show disconnection and countdown, because if the interconnection go back, the client will automatically reconnect to the server. So something like that, like in Lul or Dota or something like that. So you can listen on event. So as you can see here, for example, if connected, change canvas to menu canvas. If not, to the login canvas. So the next one is the listen message event. Here you can listen on, for example, there is a public message. You can listen here and debug or show that message. Whether it's a private, show that to your custom private viewer, or else or a channel message viewer. Basically, listen on message is dedicated only for human messages, because here you can get the sender of the message and the receiver and the content. A human message basically, unlike Photon and Unity, here you have a dedicated method for calling and receiving human message. For chat, for example, you are making a chat app. The next shut up. Anyway, listen on match join. For example, you are currently joined into the channel and you want to listen if there is a player. Anyway, uSocket client will take care of that, and while I have the option, I give you the option to listen if there is a user that is currently connected. So you can show your banner, players join the match, for example, like that. So you can listen here, and also you can listen on leave match. So for example, a user has leave the match, and then you can notify all the current user that is currently on the channel. A user leave the match, for example. So next one. So how to connect? It's very easy, and it is not time dependent. So you can always wait for the callback to return, and if 1 second is met, or depending on the connect delay that you provide here, so basically it will return connect. So every event is handled here. This is what I prioritize here. I always make sure that every action that you can do in uSocketNet, it can be subscribed whatever the result is. For example, the constant is connected. We will try to what is the currently enum for this constant. If the connect server, it return connected, disconnected, internet access, server is down, or reconnected. So currently it's connected. And conJSON, what can you get in conJSON? Basically in conJSON you can get the current channel ID, ID of the socket view, the log date, the username. So that's it. Now in disconnecting to server, you only have to do netscript, the disconnect to server, and then the constat. Listen to the event, the callback that will return from the server, whether the client is disconnected, the client is reconnected, or the current server for some reason shut down. So it will return a maintenance enum. So that's it. Every action that you want to call on the USACnet is handled with a listener or callback. So the next thing is, this is what I mean. So because USACnet handled the player state, for example, the position, this rotation, the scale, so I also separate the human message because it's so hard to combine the human message and the user data such as position. So basically here, if you send a public message, you're sending a message on the lobby. So what parameters can you pass? Basically, this is a string. What message are you sending? And the message stat. And again, we are trying to listen on the message status, whether the message is success or not. So we don't want, for example, on the client side, in the developer side, we always want to know whether our queries or our message was a success or not. We don't want the user to know, to notify that the message has been sent, even if the server did not receive the message. So we always want to make sure that our game is providing an accurate information to the user. So the next thing is, you can send private message. You can send a private message to the specific user. For example, if you integrate this with your own MySQL, you can send this to a specific client. So you can get basically what you need to provide, parameters that you need to provide is the receiver ID and the private message. So that receiver will only get this message. No one will ever get that. So again, we will always try to check if from the server if the message was sent. So if not, so notify your user that the message was failed. So that's it. Last but not the least is the netscript send channel message. Basically, you can always listen. For in the developer side, I want to know if this user is currently subscribed to a channel, or currently joined a channel, currently in a room. So that's the time that he can only send a message. So we don't want to keep the user sending even though he's not this is only an error handling. So I created a subscribe. Basically this is equal to is currently joined to a channel, for example. So what you need to do is to provide the content of the message. For example, hello world, hello lads, hello friends, and we always listen to the message stat. Now we have a channel viewer and we log that, and we clear. And again, we can always listen. So if only the message stat is equal to success, returned that success, that's only the time that we are logging the message. So that is the very broad neat example of this callback. That's why I prioritize that implementation. So the next thing is to how to join a channel, how to create a channel, how to auto match, for example. So basically it's a simple line of codes. So as you can see, we only use 280 lines in making this simple game, third-person game. So as you can see here, you can auto match what is the game variant that we will be joining. So every client that is searching for the same game variant will join together, but with the different variant will split. So there will be no different scene for each user. This is very important. This is, I think it is also implemented on Poton, so that there is no unhandled events on matchmaking. So you can basically maximum auto channel. If you are creating an MMO, you can set whatever the number you want here, but of course you don't want to overload your server and want just one channel. For example, for each world you only have 500. So that's the main use. But now for example, we will use 2v2 because we will try to create that later. We have here. Let's go back. And again, callback is very important. Now you can always listen. If return was a success, then change the display and instantiate a player. So you always need to check the callback before you do the next thing. So net script that instantiate the current index of prefab that the user has chosen. The spawn point, you can declare the spawn point so that on the other client it will instantiate at the same point. And the rotation, and also if this current socket view will be parented. The next update will be adding here a callback, so that we handled if the instantiation was failed or not. So channel JSON, the callback is also provided with channel JSON. What is currently on the channel JSON? Channel JSON is provided with the channel name, channel created time, channel ID, maximum connection of the channel, the user list. Basically, USocketNet does all the instantiation of all the socket view. Yet, I provide this information so that if you have a custom implementation, for example, you want to get all of the USocket ID, you can get it here. So, and a BT. I forget the BT. What is BT? Anyways, in the next update, I will try to add summary here. So that is basically the auto join server room. If you don't know how is auto match make happen, basically if there are, for example, in here there are maximum of 10 and there are 11 user that is currently finding an auto match. So the first 10 will be auto match, and that 11th user will not be able to join the game because it's the maximum. It's the maximum. It is the maximum number of user that is declared by the first client who's requested from the server to create this channel. So the 11th client will now create his own instance of another channel. So that's how auto-match channel work. The next thing is to create a server room. So creating a server room will require a parameter of a room name and a game variant. Game variant and the maximum connection. For example, here when we create, because we will have example that what I say to you, that if the current channel max connection is met, the succeeding user will now be creating a new channel to be able for it to join the server channel. So again, server callback is very important. You can listen if the current creation of channel was a success or not, an error or failed. And you can also listen for the channel JSON, same as the join server. Basically, it's creating a server room. So failed will only occur here if the current channel name or room name is already created on the server, or the current room name is created in the or with the same variant or maximum connection. So that's it. Basically, when we create a room, I implemented here that when success, instantiate at this position and rotation and a null of a parent. The next one, I'm sorry guys if this tutorial is pretty long, and I just want to demo you what this usocketness is all about. Is this really necessary to learn or buy? So you can see here that it is very simple, and then I make a good display here using Unity editor scripting. So inspector. So the next thing is joining the server. Basically here what you need to declare is the room name. What is the room name that currently available on the server? You declared it here, and the server will join this client to the specific room that you room name that you are declare here, that you declare here. So basically it will return failed if that for some reason the first user closed that room, and then this user request. So it will return an error because the channel is not even existed on the server. And then the game variant, of course, we always need to declare the game variant. If it same names, same game variant, so join. And it has if the maximum connection is not met, it will join. But if not, the current room name is full, it will return failed. The current and it will debug log error. If debug custom log is enabled, it will debug that the current room is currently full. The current room that you requested is full. So again, you will listen for a callback. I always make sure that every query that you send to the server is has a callback, and you can always listen to the channel JSON, which has the list of user ID, position, for example, like that, if you want to have a custom implementation. And when join channel, for example, if return is equal to return that success, then instantiate and change the canvas to the gameplay canvas. So how to leave the game? So basically it is just by calling leave channel, and automatically the server will exit this client to the current channel that this client is subscribed. So if again we will listening to the callback, as developer we need to know each and every process that the current our code is currently at. So we need to check if success or not, or failed or error, and the channel JSON, for example, we need to use, because this is the last frequent data that we will be receiving. We will go if you leave the channel, you will be transported into the public area, to the matchmaking area. So basically that's it. So that's how you implement it. So on the usocket client, that's how you implement it. It's very simple. It's very beginner. Oh, so I'm running out of words, and currently our server is currently running, and we will try to connect using the demo scene. So let's try to bring it here, and if we connect here using that server, you see that because of this connection status, you are currently connected to the server. This is because debug custom log is enabled. For example, you can enable this on the development, but on the release or production you can disable this. So currently the USACET client is 1, and what we need to do, we show the, currently you can see that you have a console log here, connect log, identity of 1HW0, username of user #1, and a total of 1. Currently the total user, online user, is 1. Now what if I auto create a channel and it will also be logged on the console, on the server? Instance log ID 1HWE. So this is the ID of the channel. Basically the ID of the channel is got from the first user who created the channel and the number of object. So every user can have a multiple object. So for example, we will try later the multiple demo guy multiple. As you can see, the sync rate is 12 sync per second, and the current bytes that is sent is 102, an average of 80-90 bytes per second. But the download, as you can see, download rate is 0 because there is no other client on the server. The USACET client core is very intelligent. If there is no need to sync on the server, he will not be syncing anything or downloading. As well as the server side, I program it to be intelligent as it can be. So current ping, so we will try to build this one. Add the scene, build and run. Let's declare, which create a build folder, and let's call this one a single. Is that this? Single, and let's call this game, and inside the single, let's save this one. And it's currently building. I'm sorry guys if this was a pretty long tutorial, yet I would like to demo the USACET as much as every question that you have on your mind. Hopefully I did answer it. Let's just switch this to the lowest resolution and quality. Sorry, let's F4 that. I'm sorry. Where did I run it? Sorry. Open, and let's pin this now. Let's try to, oh, my bad. Sorry. Last one. Click this one, windowed. Now we join a ping of 0. Why is it that on the Unity editor it has a high ping, but on the build you only have the nearly accurate ping value? So let's try to connect. Again, you can see here that you have lots of lag happening here. So they join on the same socket, so basically they will see each other. Where is that? So currently there are 2 prefabs. Where is that one? It's so far. So now they are here. So you can dynamically adjust the usocket view. For example, I already implemented the hopefully I can demo this one. Now if you see here, if I'll try to manipulate the size of the, you see that we enable the scale. We can also, for example, there is a power up that the user will go bigger. You can implement you can enable the scale animator and the state. The usocket child is basically like on the tanks. You can have multiple childs here. So as you can see, you have lots. So now, as you can see, if you are disconnected, the server automatically remove the user from the current every user that is currently subscribed on the same channel. Let's try to run this multiple socket. So currently the variant of this is demo guy multiple. This one is demo guy single. So let's see if it will try to connect on a different variant. So let's remove this. So here you can connect and join F1 switch socket, because you can have multiple socket. You can instantiate another socket view on the current socket. You can switch instant because you can instantiate multiple socket view. Connect. So the player is currently connected. Is this view appear? And then we can instantiate just by pressing F3. So we have a client connected. So what if I want to instantiate another socket view? So this client has a 2 local. So what if I try to connect another client? So each and every machine can have multiple clients. So instantiate. So this is the second client. As you can see there, we have 2 usocket managers. So this usocket net is designed to be customizable or adaptable, scalable, flexible to every gameplay that is currently existing on the market. I tested it to and designed it based on the current game that is present on the market. So as you can see, we have and you can see here that is the only one who's syncing here, because this is a different variant. And now what if we will try to build this multiple so that we can test the scale, the load of the server. We'll try just add the new scene. We'll create a multiple instance. Don't worry guys, this is the last one. Sorry for the long video, but hopefully you get the point and you get the importance and how easy is usocket.net to implement, and you own your own server. You can host your own server. Now we instantiate a multiple just to simulate a MMO, for example, or a survival game. For example, we connect here, we connect here, we connect here, we instantiate, move it forward, instantiate. So we have 2 here, and we create a 5 for this character. Oh, 5. So we have 5 on this first one. We instantiate. Oh, we have error there. I'm sorry. Why is it happening like? We restart the game. Is there an error in the server? No, I think it's on the client side. So we instantiate here, instantiate. So for example, we will be having 3. Did I set the maximum client to 3? Oh my god, this is the single one. Sorry. So disconnect this one, instantiate. Is it connected? Instantiate. So you have 3. I also need to create 3. And this one to connect and create. So I want to create 3 team here. For example, we're making an MMO. So for example, we connect and join another client. So we have 2 clients, and there is an error again here. I think it's on the implementation on the USACAT demo, but we'll try to check it later. So that's it, guys. Hopefully you like the USACAT.net and try to visit on the bytescrafter.com. And again, if you disconnect this, the server will automatically remove the unused prefabs. If I disconnect this, the server will remove all of the unlocal prefab. So that's it, guys. Hopefully you can support me. Please subscribe. Hopefully you can support me. Please subscribe to my channel, and hoping that you would visit the bytescrafter.com to see the USACAT.net. And also you can visit the exact project on the usacat.bytescrafter-crafter.com, and hopefully you could buy the plugin for me to be able to develop this more reliable, more stable, and filled with amazing features that will surpass or overpass other multiplayer server. I want this multiplayer server to cater, focus on catering to the indie game developer community. This is not focusing on the AAA game studio. This is for only for the indie game developer, which is currently limited for funds, or they are having a startup project. So this suits up for every indie game developer who wants to create a multiplayer game. And hopefully you like the video, and please leave a like if you like the video or the USACAT.net, and please leave some comment if you have comments or suggestion. I'm currently planning to add teaming, or you can fun instantiation. You can declare, the developer can declare what team is the current player. So bye bye, thank you for watching, and hope to please subscribe.